Hello, I'm Sandy Oliver, and I'm going to be your instructor for Humanities 115 this summer. And we're going to walk through the normal first day stuff on this video and hopefully get you set to get started in the class. Please, remember that this is a summer course, and so it's an 8-week course. It's the same course that I teach during a regular semester of 16 weeks. So when you look at the here's what you got to do this week, and it looks like a lot, it's because it is. It's 2 weeks in one all the way through. And if you get a little behind, don't panic. Just, take your time and get caught up. Um, we're doing the same work as a regular semester, a few less discussion boards, a few less exercises and things, but otherwise the same course. And I say that at the beginning so that this is not your normal 16-week, go at a leisurely pace kind of thing. If you're working full time and you're taking more than 2 classes this summer, strap in because it's going to be head down and running the whole way. And I'm not saying that to scare you off or anything. I want you to stay. I want you to do well. I just want you to have reasonable expectations for what's going to go on out there. So I'm going to walk through the syllabus, and if you don't have it printed out or on your device, pause me and then go do that and come back. Okay. And you'll use that particular skill set, the pause, go do something, come back a lot this semester. So just kind of get used to that. Okay, so on the first page, you're going to see that it's Humanities 115. It's called Critical Thinking. Um, we start on the 19th of May and we run through the 15th of July at noon. Hear me say that out loud from the beginning, at noon on Tuesday, because my grades are due on Wednesday morning. And so I can't take anything after that. So keep that in the back of your head as well. This, like you said, this is a regular 3 credits course. We are going to write some papers, we are going to take some exams, and we're going to do some homework and such from the book. And that's how I think about it, as homework. You're at home all the time though, so be aware that because this is an online course, you are required to kind of make up your own schedule. So you need to make time for videos every week. I have a video, at least one video for every chapter. If they get a little long, like chapter 2 and 3 both have 2. When we get to our technical pieces, chapters 8 and 9, 8 has 3 videos, and 9 has 4. So keep that in mind again as you're going along. I've noticed from reusing videos and such, as long as I'm still using the same edition of the book, I use the same videos. I do make a new, obviously, new one for the welcome, and maybe a few others that need some revamping, or I found a mistake or whatever. So anyway, they're there. You have them. The course will open up usually 2 weeks ahead of when things are due. That week will open up. I can't open them all up all at once anymore. That's part of the new Department of Education stuff. So you'll see them. I leave them open once they're open. I don't close them at the end. My goodness, that's a little bit much for me. So you do have a staggered start, but everything's open at the end. At least for the last 3 weeks or so, everything's open, so you can get caught up if that's necessary. Okay, so I try really hard to make things accessible for you, to make things work best for a broad range of students. And so not everything is going to be absolutely the way you like it, but some of it will be, and other folks will get things that they like. It's a class, it's a college course, so you're going to have work to do. If you think you can just kind of limp along and not do anything and still pass the course, ask anybody who's taken this course before with me. That's not possible. So be ready to work. But also, if you run into questions or you get stressed out, email me. I'm available a lot. I keep that on my phone and I try to answer it the same day. Um, I will answer it the next day at the very latest, unless you email me on, Saturday evening. And then you have to wait till Monday morning because I try really hard not to work on Sunday, which is my holy day. But as you can tell from this date stamp, I'm not always successful. And so things happen and you make amends. Okay, you make things work. So it is a 100% online course. We don't meet in person. We don't meet all at the same time. This is an asynchronous online course, which means you can do it whenever you want. 2 o'clock in the morning, great, have a party. I'm sleeping, but you can have a party. It's fine. I'm I will check and grade everything that's posted every day, Monday through Saturday, and I try to keep up with y'all. There's a lot of you this term, so keep that in mind as well. We are using an e-text. It is The Power of Critical Thinking. It's by Dr. Lewis Vaughn. It's Oxford University Press. It has a companion site that can help you with studying, with understanding things. He does some other things there. He's got some Quizlets kind of stuff, and all kinds of other things that you can look at there. Like I said, I make videos for every chapter and um, more than that, and I make videos for the 4 exams, study guides, so you know what to expect, and for the 3 papers, again, so you know what to expect. Please avail yourself of those. I will tell you that folks who don't watch the videos have a lot more questions and struggle more with, especially the papers. They're a little bit different from what you're used to, and but they help me help you understand the concepts that we're doing in a slightly different way. So, yeah, power of critical thinking. You also need, of course, access to Blackboard, access to the library, which you have in Blackboard. Now, you can go through the JCC website and get there as well. But once you're in Blackboard, you can get to tutoring and the Jaguar Rights and all kinds of library stuff. So there's that. Please check your JCC email regularly. In the syllabus, it says once every day. I know that's feels a little bit like overkill, and I know only old people have email, but this is the way we're supposed to do it for college. And it's also a safeguard for you and for me in case things go sideways. We have documentation, we have what they used to call a paper trail, and now it's electronic trail. So if you ask me a question and I don't answer it, and then you lose points for it, we have again a paper trail. So there's that part. We are going to have, again, there's the course grade details at the bottom of page 2. We are going to write 3 papers, about 3 pages each. 4 exams. They're not cumulative except for the section that I call big words. They're definitions that we use very extensively throughout the course, and some of them are slightly different from what you would say what is the definition of an argument out and about versus what's an argument when we're talking about logic and reasoning. So there's those things. Aside from those, everything is just that section. And so you don't have to worry about a cumulative exam at the end. This is a leftover from when I was teaching this face-to-face, and I could not figure out a way to give a test that would cover the whole semester and only take an hour. So I just don't. One note about Blackboard. Remember that Blackboard is run by an algorithm. We're getting very used to algorithms these days. And so it shouldn't come as any surprise that this particular algorithm for your grade, your current grade, it's close. Okay, it does a really good job at estimating, but it could be off by a little bit, even if you're all caught up. And if you're not caught up, it's really more optimistic than you should be. Okay, use your critical thinking. You know that if it's halfway through the semester, you haven't done any of the main assignments, the exams or the papers, and you have an A, that That's not really true. Okay, so keep that in mind. Anytime you're confused or if you're just curious, hey, what is my actual grade right now? I can send me an email. I'll figure it out and I'll send it back to you. Okay, no big. Yeah, my use of current slang is a little bit behind, so just so you know. I make every effort to post grades for all of the on-time assignments every week. And like I said, I try to get through all the grading every day just so that it's not, you know, hanging over my head, and so that you know where you are and how you're doing. Um, you can click on, if you go to my grades, that's the easiest way to tell, okay, did I get everything last week or not? Um, Go to my grades, and anything that has it's blue but it's also underlined, that's a hyperlink, and so it takes you to my feedback. I don't give you feedback for every single thing. I do give you feedback if there's something that's going on that is problematic, or that you've done something extra super wonderful. I'll give you some credit for that too. I don't give extra credit assignments, but I do give extra credit for extra work. And what that means is on a test or on homework or on a reading log or whatever, if you go above and beyond, I'll give you that 10% extra credit. It helps along the way. Um, Especially, you know, when we're moving this fast, things that you do really well on, you want extra credit for, and I'm willing to do that. The workload is a bit much, I know. This is not a slough off and, you know, spend 2 hours at the end of the semester and get an A. No, you have to be doing work all the way through. My current late policy is 2 weeks. So anything that's due in week 1, if you haven't done it by the end of week 3, it could get a 0. So, but I'll warn you ahead of time and say, hey, you still got these things you can do. Okay, that kind of stuff. I try to give you every chance to do well. And sometimes that works really, really well, and sometimes that's just annoying. So if I'm annoying, I apologize in advance, but I'm still going to be annoying. I'm going to tell you about things. Okay, so a couple of things that I know everybody's wondering about AI. Um, I want you to use your own brain and your own study habits and all of that to do the work. I do not approve of using AI for anything in this class. So turn it off, put it in the background, whatever you got to do. Um, if you're using AI, I know a lot of times it's very hard for me to tell because I can't do what I used to do, which is put a line in a search engine that goes, hey, there's that paper. It doesn't do that anymore because it's not word for word anymore. We haven't quite caught up um, to the technology yet, so it's all right. Please don't use AI. Please use your own brain. It's more than enough to get through the class to do what you're supposed to do. And the other part of it is you don't have permission to use any of the class material, any of the book material, any other student's material to work through the AI. You don't have permission. You do not have permission. And that is plagiarism. Even though our definition of plagiarism is shifting as well, please, please, please just put AI out of your mind for this class. If you're taking computer classes, if you're doing other people's classes, they have different rules. That's okay. We're allowed to do that. No AIs. I want your brain, not the computer. It already knows. The other part is late work. And I kind of touched on that already, but I do take late work. Sometimes life blows up in your face or something else comes up and you need to take attention to that over school. Okay, I get that. But school can't always lose. You've committed to take this course, you're here in the summer, you're going to do the work. And if something, you know, blows up, and I don't mean, oh, by the way, my family's going on vacation for a week. Sorry, take your book, you know, take your laptop, do whatever you got to do. So that's not an emergency. An emergency is, you know, you're in a car accident or somebody's ill or, you know, that kind of stuff. Be careful, okay? Be careful with your absences. But late work, I do give some leeway there, especially the first week or so. We have a lot to get done, and sometimes it's a little overwhelming. Okay, take a breath, go for a walk, um, you know, have a cup of tea, whatever works for you, and come back to it. Okay, don't give up. Don't give up. Don't give up. You can ask for an extension if you have something coming up and you know you're going to be out of town for work. Then by all means, talk to me. I would rather you do things early than late, of course. Sometimes that's not always possible. Our jobs aren't always looking out for our time and such. So let me know what's going on and we'll make arrangements. Okay. Our weekly due dates are Tuesdays and Thursdays, and that's pretty much the whole way through, except for the week of 4th of July, because we only go to class Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, as opposed to Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. College is closed on the 3rd for Independence Day, and so we'll have things due on Wednesday that week. The other exception is the very last week, July 14th and July 15th, the last 2 days of the course. We're going to have on Monday the exam, the last exam, and all of your late makeup work is due by midnight. Okay. On Tuesday, the only thing I'll take at that point is the final draft of the last paper. So keep that in mind, and I'll show you where that is in just a minute. Make sure that you're talking to me first about late work and absences and all the other things. Okay. You and I have to come through an agreement on things and make sure that what you're doing is what I'm asking for and in the right format. That last piece gets a little bit lost sometimes. Okay. You have to be in the class, and this is something we're doing a little bit differently this summer as kind of a practice. We've set up the course so that you can only see the side notes. So you can look at the course information that has all the stuff for the course, lectures and notes and assignments and that kind of stuff. But on the weekly work where you actually turn things in, you can't do any of that until you take the enrollment verification quiz. And so it's under getting started in the weekly lessons link. And once you do that, the first 2 weeks will open up for you. You can see the dates, you can see what we're going to do, and you can have access to the boxes where you turn in your homework and such. Okay, but not until you take that EVQ. It just gets that out of the way, make sure everybody's in before the census date, which doesn't make any sense to you guys at all. But this is how the college decides how many people are in the class and and that's how the county and the federal folks take into account how they're going to pay us, how they're going to give us money for you to come to college. So anyway, that's a whole bleh thing. But anyway, that is our census date is Thursday, May 22nd. And so if you don't take the EVQ by then, you'll just be dropped from the course and you can't come back in this term. You have to go next term. Okay. If you miss more than 2 weeks in the class, that means and for online, that just means you haven't done any work for 2 weeks. I can drop you. Doesn't matter when in the semester that is. Week 3. Okay. And so please, please, please make sure you're doing at least one thing every due date. So 2 things a week. And I've set it up so that if you're really strapped and stressed or whatever, overwhelmed, you can just do the discussion board, post and reply, and that gets you both. Okay. Otherwise, please, please, please just do all the work and move on. Okay. Let's see. If you have a religious or solemn observance during our class time, let me know as soon as you can, preferably within 2 weeks before it happens so that I can make a note and we can talk about how to get your assignments in so that you don't get counted absent. Okay. Page 6, we have the Jaguar writing portal. I have to be very intentional when I say that because they are um, doing papers, looking at papers, having fun with papers for students on a regular basis. And they have a 24-hour turnaround. So make sure if you're going to use that, that you do it early enough that you can get your paper, make the changes they've explained, and turn it in on time. Okay, that's on you. Let's see, I don't think we're doing paces over the summer. If I've done something to offend you, I've said something wrong, or I've made an assignment that offends you, um, let me know. I can make amends. I can apologize. I have no intention of um, insulting anybody, um, but I'm human, and sometimes things come out of my mouth that shouldn't. Okay. Um, my niece has got me a t-shirt that says I swear because I care. I try really hard not to swear. I do care, but I try really hard not to swear or say anything, you know, less than PG. But if it happens, if I offend you, please let me know and we can work on making that better. And if we can't come to an agreement, then my director is Elizabeth Baker, and she gets involved with that and helps us figure things out. If she can't get us to figure things out, then we talk to the AVP, the Associate Vice President for University Studies, which is Lisa Cooper. So there are some links, and you know to hit Control and then tap for the link in the actual syllabus that will take you to regulations and expectations, college resources, all that kind of fun stuff. So the last thing, and probably one of the more important parts of this, is our course content schedule. Okay. I have it up on Blackboard in a couple different places, but I have it at the end of the syllabus so that you have it all in one document. There's a lot, and we have the due dates. And what I've done is I've put the discussion board for that week in the middle. So everything above the discussion board is due on Tuesday. Everything below the discussion board is due on Thursday. And so I've tried to make the columns line up. And I think I did pretty good. There's just a couple places where it's off a little bit, but it's okay. We're good. But yes, we start. Our first due date is May 20th. Our last one is July 15th. And we just kind of go through the work there. When you see the other things that we're doing, things like paper one, please remember that this is like, I want you to have 2 days. Okay. And it doesn't always work that way. So the summaries, where did I put that on there? I don't think that's on there. Oh yes, paper one summaries are due on Tuesday, the 27th of May. And then the rough draft is due on Thursday that same week. So yes, you're busy, but so am I, going in and making sure people are doing what they're supposed to do and how they're supposed to do it. And then after that, pretty much every week, some part of a paper is due. So we'll do, like I said, we'll do 3 papers, we'll do 4 exams, and on Tuesday, July 15th in the afternoon, we'll all, breathe a sigh of relief and move on. So it's all good. I hope that lays things out for you pretty well. Like I said at the beginning, please make sure that you're planning your week carefully, that you have time set aside for watching videos and reading the chapter and doing the work and that kind of stuff, so that you don't get as overwhelmed as if you leave it all for the last minute. I know some of you claim that you work better under pressure. Okay, summer is pressure. Summer course, 8-week course is pressure, period. So help yourself out, set some time limits for yourself, and figure things out that way. I will tell you that I spend probably 3 or 4 hours a day catching up, making sure I've got everything together and grading everything. So I'm right there with you. This is not, sit back and wait and let the course grade itself. Nah. I read everything you write. Ask a few former students about that. I read everything you write. I try to help. I give you some feedback on things that need feedback, and otherwise, you just get graded and move on. Most of the time, homework is graded with you made a stab at all the pieces. Okay, great. You get your 20 points and move on. Occasionally, if you see a 19 in your homework, that usually means, hey, there's something really important that you missed here. You made a stab, but you missed. And so I'll write you a little note about how to fix that or why to fix that or all that kind of stuff. So I hope this helps. I hope this has been useful. I know I talk really fast, but that's, you can slow it down. You can ask YouTube for the transcript, that kind of thing, and it'll be helpful. So let me know if you have questions. You know how to get a hold of me. You have my email. Okay? Bye.